Today, we're going to go through how you can build an inbound lead AI system. So what the system will do is basically for every lead that comes in, you will have an AI agent that will research that lead and then draft a hyper-personalized outreach email. And then we'll send that email within minutes, just so that we get the lead when they are at their highest intent. Now, the value of this is pretty obvious, right? Like we're trying to increase speed to lead as well as personalization in order to increase the response rate or the conversion rate from just capturing that lead, going into a meeting or whatever that next stage is for your business. Now, the overall structure for this build is relatively simple. So it starts with the lead capture, right? Now, depending on your business, this can be quite different. For many businesses, it's just a contact us form or a book a demo form. For other businesses, you might have a lead magnet or something of that sort. Basically anything where we can capture some details about the lead. So usually that would be the lead's email, the company, the name, all that sort of stuff. So once we've captured those details about the lead, we move into this second step here, right? Which is we want to have an AI agent that will research the lead, qualify that lead to see whether that lead is a target customer for us, and then finally draft a hyper-personalized email to the lead to push them towards that next step. So in some cases, it will sort of be if the lead is qualified in and they are a target customer, we want to push them towards a meeting. If the lead is not a target customer, then we might want to ask some more qualifying questions in the follow-up email to protect your calendar, but also just to see how much intent there is behind that non-target lead. And then finally here, we're just sending that email that the AI agent drafted. Cool. So in terms of the tools that we'll be using today, for lead capture, we will be using Tally. The Tally is a form builder that is very similar to Google Forms, Typeform, SurveyMonkey, all that sort of stuff. And you don't have to use Tally, no, you can use whatever tool you use. If you're already using HubSpot or something like that, that's perfectly fine as well. I'm just using Tally because I enjoy it and I find it very easy to build forms. For the AI agent, we will be using Dumpling AI. So Dumpling AI lets you build powerful AI agents that have access to a lot of different tools very quickly. And that's critical for our use case here because we want the AI agent to have access to these tools to research the lead easily. Then finally, we'll be using Gmail to send the email, and we'll be connecting everything together with our favorite workflow automation platform, Make.com. Cool. So to get started with, I build the lead capture form, right? So for the lead capture form, I'm going to go into Tally. We're going to start by creating a new form. And for this form, it's going to be pretty straightforward, right? We just want a lead capture form. So that's usually name, email, company size sometimes, that sort of stuff. So I might see if there's a demo, template that I can use. So there's a lead gen. Looks a little bit like it's got first name, last name, email, job title, company name, company size. Let's just use this as a starting point. We can tweak it a little bit. So I guess to begin with, we don't need this. We don't need the email thing. This is all pretty good. Sometimes I like to combine first name and last name, but that really depends on how you're saving this data in your CRM. What I like to do with this is have a long open text answer. So something like what is you, and maybe let's give some more context to our example. So let's pretend we are a AI automation agency and we help businesses build like inbound lead research systems. Basically what we're doing right now, right? So maybe we'll ask all the leads, what are you hoping to achieve with AI? Right? So pretty open-ended question. Now, in the past, before we started using AI for a lot of these systems, these open-ended questions were actually not that helpful because it's hard to analyze and actually use in automations. But these days, because we have AI and AI is quite good at handling unstructured data, these sorts of open-ended questions, open-ended fields are actually super helpful for generating hyper-personalized messages. Cool. So we're not going to spend too much time on this lead gen form. We just need something pretty generic. I'm going to publish this. And once I publish this, I should be able to just open it. And yeah, now we have this form. It's pretty good. Cool. So if we come back here, it starts with a lead capture, right? That's how our automation starts. So I'm going to do the same thing here. I type in Tally. They have a watch new responses module. I'm going to pick my webhook, which I've already set up. So this webhook is actually connected to this function. Actually do need to create a new form, new webhook. I was had a last webhook was very different. We'll call it lead generation form webhook. I'm using my Tally account, which I've reconnected, and then down here where I need to type in the form. So I think it's called lead generation form, right? And press save now. And basically what I've done here, right, is basically, I don't know why we have two of these. Make.com sometimes glitches. Let's refresh that. Anyways, What I've done here with the initial watch responses step is basically anytime someone submits this form now, that automation will automatically trigger. If I go back into editing, I did not save. So Make sometimes glitches out if you leave it for too long. So no worries, we will do that quickly again. So it was tally, watch view responses. Hopefully we don't need to set up the webhook again. We don't because we already just did it. So now if I run this, right, and then if I come back here and fill out the form, so I'd say, just to test if this works, you'd see that the information has come through here, which means the automation has been created, all that information coming through. Yeah. Cool. So that means we've finished step 1 of this inbound. So now we move into building this AI agent. So we're going to go into Dumpling AI, and what you need to do is create a new AI agent. Now you can start from scratch, or you can use one of the templates. So what we're doing is similar to this, not exactly this. So instead of just research, we also need to qualify and draft our HTML, but we'll just start with this one, and then we can sort of tweak that template a little bit. All right, we're using this, right? Inbound lead research, qualification. Let's simplify that. We'll apparently need the prompt for an AI agent. You're really just outlining like a process or the routine, right? All the different steps that you want the AI agent to take. So we're going to tweak this a little bit because we're not really building just a research agent. We're building an agent that will research, qualify, and then draft an email. Now, before I go into that, one thing to call out here is the power of AI agents, or the power of AI agents in Dumpling, is you can give these AI agents access to lots of powerful tools. So within Dumpling AI, you can quickly add access to all of these tools, right? So for this research agent, we're going to give it the ability to search Perplexity AI, so that it can get up-to-date information. And then we're also going to give it the ability to scrape URLs so that it can scrape the lead's website as well, if that's helpful for its research. Cool. So coming back to the instructions, because I'm just tweaking this, I'm going to do it manually. But if you're starting from scratch, you can actually use this generate button here and explain what you want. And Dumpling AI will actually just generate a prompt for you. So what I want to do here is create this. So it says step 1 is identify the lead. That would work if it's generic. For our use case, a lead is always a person. So we don't really need this step 1 anymore. So we're going to delete step 1. So it's going to gather information, that's fine. Person information, that's fine. Company information, that's fine. Role information, that's fine. Recent activity, that's good. And then summary. We don't really need the summary anymore. We care more about just qualifying. So hence qualifier. So qualification. Let's define what our target customer is. Going along with our AI automation agency example, let's say we target real estate companies with more than 10 people, right? So we'll say our target customer is a real estate company with more than 10 people. If the lead does not fit us with these criteria, they are not a target. Then why do we care if it's a target customer? Will it impact our next step, right? Which is the outreach email. Depending on if they're a target customer, we want to either push them towards a meeting or we want to ask a follow-up question, right? So I'll say, if the lead is a target customer, then let's try schedule a meeting with them by a calendar. This is where you put in your calendar link, right? So maybe if I just put in an example, is be something like this, calendly.com. And then I'll say, if the lead is not a target now, then ask follow-up question to use AI. So this is still a relatively simplistic prompt. So we might just test it out first and see if it works, right? So what I'm going to do here is let's find a New York real estate agent quickly, right? And then see if we can test our agent. So I'm going to click in something. So this click on a real estate agent, right? So let's copy this over. We can just paste it in here. It's across B, right? So we haven't put in the website or anything like that. It's just the name and the company. And you can see that the agent is doing lots of Perplexity searches. And now we have all of these information. And because it is a qualification, it meets our criteria for being a target customer. So you can see that it's tried to schedule a meeting. And here it's not filling my name. And that makes sense, right? Because I haven't actually told the agent who I am yet and all that sort of stuff. So for this, usually the way I would do it is actually I would put in a couple of example outreach emails. And that's really good because you want the AI agent to know what sort of style and tone you want in your outreach email. Because right now we're just getting it to write quite generic outreach emails, right? Because we haven't explained to it or even given it emails on given it examples on what we want the emails to look like. So it works pretty well if it is a target customer. Let's see what happens if it isn't a target customer. So I'm going to open it in a separate tab so it's easier to do testing in. And then say we find a NOC one, not even a credit. Let's see if we can find a name. That would be ideal because that would best replicate what we're getting in through the form. So it seems like there's some guy called Terrence of a share. Let's do this. And let's come back here. We've got Terrence and the company is Roto Router. So let's get them to get our AI agent to do some research on this lead. So it's doing all of this research now. And like in our agent prompt right now, it's quite generic, right? So if there are certain pieces of information that you really want the agent to find, you can put those in the instructions as well. Right now we have it pretty generic. So it's put in a meeting, even though it's not a target customer. Let's have a look. Meets the criteria. It's not a real estate company. It's a plumbing and draining company. Okay. So this is that iteration process, right? You've got to tweak your prompt, test it, and then tweak it again. That's how it works. So let's just make it very clear. I make that abundantly clear. And let's try this again. So I'm going to just copy that, refresh this, put this in again. Get the AI agent to research the lead once again. Again, it's going crazy with the searches. I might actually, in the instructions, I should ask it to actually scrape the company website as well. Still makes the target company. Just adding additional research steps. Cool. So you can kind of continue to tweak this pump up for the purpose of this demo. Maybe we'll just move on to the next step and we'll sort of tweak it as we go. The next step is what we're doing now, right? So we've built the agent, but we need to connect it to the lead capture field. So we're going to come into here and we've got the leads coming in via the form submission. What we need to do is pass that lead information to the AI agent that we built in Dumpling AI. So we use the generate AI agent completion module. So to connect this, you need the agent ID. So we come back into Dumpling AI, just copy that agent ID, then go back into make.com, paste that in. And what I'm going to do here is basically just tell the AI agent all the information that we captured, right? So we've got the first name, or last name, and I'm just adding new lines just to base out the information a bit to make it a bit easier for the AI agent to read. And that is all looking pretty good, right? So now let's try run this end to end. So if I run this, it'll be waiting for submission again. So let me refresh my form. So if I copy this, so you got Terrence, he works at this. So let's say I use this example data, right? So let's submit this and it should come through which it has, and then now it's passing it to the AI agent to do that research. And this will take a little bit of time because it's the same as when we sort of did this, talking to the AI agent directly. It's sort of searching complexity, searching the websites, scraping the website, all that sort of stuff. So it's come back with a result. Let's have a look. So it's found all this information. It's still not qualifying properly, but we can tweak that as we go. And it's got this email. Again, it doesn't have my name because I haven't included that information in the prompt. If you're doing this for real, you definitely want to give it some example emails so that it will be able to do this. And also example emails will really help with the qualification as well. Cool. So let me just make another tweak to the prompt. Carter to say company. That looks good. The other thing that we need to tweak here is you can see that it's just responded with like this whole message right now, as all the information as well as the email itself. But you'll see like that's not really what we want, right? We want all those things in variables. And the reason for that is we sort of go forward a little bit. The next step is to send the actual email, right? So if we use Gmail here and send an email, you'll see that for the recipient, that's fine. We have the email address because we captured it in the form, but we need a subject variable. We don't want to put in the entire AI agent response in the subject or in the content. So what we need to do is get the AI agent to respond in JSON format. So I'm going to have so respond in email subject. This will be the string, and then that come back to I'll make this stuff. Come back here, press pause JSON. Run this again and let us submit our information one more time. So Terrence had then come through and will be it and has responded. So look, I have JSON. So we've got the email subject as a variable as well as the email content. If you look at the email itself, like it's very well customized. You can see here it's still not qualifying properly, but it comes down to the prompt. So we can sort of iron that out as we continue to test. But basically what you want to do here then is connect this, and then you can put in the subject line that we got here. Now the email contents as well. And that's basically it for this inbound AI outreach system. And this is something that I used myself in the past when I was just starting out with Dumpling AI, because sometimes you have people filling out, like you have a lot of people filling out your lead capture forms, and sometimes they are target customers, sometimes they're not. And if they are a target customer, you want to get back to them as soon as possible to increase that conversion rate to the next step. Because when you're doing this manually, like at most, you're probably responding within a couple of hours. And by that point in time, the lead's thinking about something else. They're no longer super high intent, and you like call them, then probably not even at their computer anymore. Or if you email them, they don't even see the email for a while. So yeah, it's not ideal. But if you have this AI that auto responds within minutes, it sort of captures your leads at their highest intent and is hyper personalized. So like it very effectively pushes the leads that you want into that meeting step. So yeah, highly recommend this if you have some sort of lead capture, or if your client have it. It's super valuable and it's very easy to show ROI on a build like this. Now, I think some of you might be saying like, well, how do we get it to qualify properly, right? So the reason I suspect this is not doing it well is because we used a template who has a load of just random steps in here that we don't actually need. So what you actually want to do is simplify the steps and focus the AI agent on what you actually want it to do. And I think if we did that, you'd probably get much better responses in terms of the qualification. The other thing is what I mentioned earlier, give it example emails, right? So example of the inputs, so the lead as well as the output, like having those examples of inputs and outputs will also give the AI agent examples of what qualifies and what doesn't as well. So those sorts of things will sort of improve performance quite a bit. Now, before I finish, this AI agent is still relatively basic, right? It just researches the lead and then drafts an email. You could do something similar with just pure make.com. You don't get as much flexibility in terms of the research step, because as you can see, right, when we did our test runs, like each lead or each time we ran it, it did different things, right? So sometimes it would only search complexity once. Sometimes it would search it 4 times, and it would do different things as our instructions change, right? So if you wanted to do really deep research, it might be like you want to ask XYZ questions to perplexity and then also scrape XYZ websites about this company. You could do that very easily here versus in a defined automation, it would do the same steps every single time. Now, the other thing is, I mentioned this earlier, right? Like you could add other tools to make this more powerful. You can use the message AI agent tool to have multiple AI agents working together to do something like this as well. So lots of different ways you can sort of take this to the next level. Now, if you have any questions on this build, feel free to leave a comment below. If you want me to make a tutorial on any of the other things I mentioned, also leave a comment below. But with that, I will see you in my next video.